Hey guys, have you guys seen Men in Black? Have you seen where they hold up the flashy light thing and flash and your memory's gone? And it's really quite amazing, don't you think? How like all this like temperature taking is like flash, oh laser, like flash, oh straight to the pineal gland. And isn't it interesting that so many people are having really full-on lucid type dreams and all third eye pain and all this stuff? Don't you reckon it's kind of like interesting, don't you think? Hey guys, I'm Hannah from Reality Awareness. If you guys don't know me, say hello, let me know where you're from around the world. I've got some things to talk about on this live stream today. All right, let me share this as always. Hello, hello. All right, let's go into this because there's been a lot of people talking about this. Hence, I want to speak to it. There's a lot of people have been feeling all of this, like the lucid dreaming, but it's like we're in other realms. And I've been like hearing like client after client after client talking about it. And I've also been hearing student after student, follower after follower talking about it. So I really want to speak to you guys about it because there's a lot of energy going around. Remember, I kept saying this. All right, let me share this and then I'll keep talking. Otherwise, I won't stop. Hi, Tina. Hi, Donnie. All right, let me go. Let me concentrate. Because there's always 50,000 things I want to talk about at once. At once, of course. Hi, Joy. A lot of you are diving into past life work as well, and that's very, very third eye, very dream orientated. A lot of healing going on the third eye relationship stuff, but it's also where we see the truth about things. How interesting, right? How interesting is where we see the truth about things at the third eye. And all this like lasering the third eye, but actually, why would they even be doing that? Because so many of us are waking up to the truth. Oh, how about that? So funny. So very interesting. Now, the reason that I want to talk about, okay, shared, done, shared, I can concentrate, going to bring up the comments here, but we don't want to hear me talking at the same time. Hey Matthew, hey Paula, hi Teresa, happy 11/11 portal. Oh yeah, it's just, oh, it's almost 11/11 here. I know in Australia with the, what's it called, the daylight savings, it's already just gone 11/11 at some places, but here it's 22, so we're almost at 11/11 on the 11th portal. How interesting that we're talking about third eye vision and third eye realities, which is the truth. It's your dream state, it's your clairvoyance, obviously. It's about seeing the truth in relationships, so we see the dynamics of the energy going on, which is kind of really interesting. It's definitely past life, future life, this life, because it's past, present, future, when ultimately it's all now. Of what we're seeing now, right? We've got three eyes, not one. I mean, not one, not two. How interesting, we've got three eyes, not one. So this is like, I know I'm talking about the third eye, but it's interesting because the dreams and the dream states and the realms and the spirits that you are seeing like in your house, walking around, flying around everywhere, like there's been a lot of that going on too. Now remember, we just had the Halloween and that blue full moon, and that was really intense in itself, right? Yours just happened, yes, the 11/11 portal. So it's really amazing. We're talking about all this third eye vision stuff on the 11/11 portal. So the 11/11, right? 11 is always your thoughts are manifesting at rapid speed, right? It's a one, it's the start of a new cycle. It's really like moving into this space around, you know, like what you're thinking is manifesting. Oh, how interesting, right? It's also like what we see and absorb through our eyes, and not just our physical eyes, but also our third eye, through our whole eye space, yeah? And we're seeing so much more than we are conscious of, right? You guys know this, yeah? So we've got like our peripheral vision on like the, you know, on our physical eyes, right? When we look at something, we can also see all around here, right? So, you know, when we're looking at something, there's so much that our subconscious is absorbing whilst we're looking here, but we can see everywhere, right? And this is really important because when we go to sleep, Okay, when we go to sleep and there's these dreams and they're like, and I really want to speak to this, right? So tell me if you guys are on live, if you've been having these really weird, like they're dreams, but it's like, they're so, I want to say they're so real, but it is. And people are like hearing voices and conversations in their dreams, but they wake up and it's like, they can't fully remember the dream, but it's like, it was a dream, but it was more real than a dream. Remember I shared a little while ago in August, back in August, several months ago, I had a dream and these three men came to the edge of my boundary line fence on my property. It was here, but it wasn't here, but it was here. And it's interesting, they came up and I was like working in the field or something. And I, you know, went across and I was like, oh, can I help you? Like out in the middle of nowhere. And they said, oh, can we test you for MYCOSP or something, right? And I'm like, no. And then they left. Now, what's really important, guys, is I always say the dream state is no different to the reality state, right? There's no separation, and this is the same for the spirit world and our physical world, right? So when you've got like spirits walking in through the house and, you know, flying around your house, or you're sensing the presence and everything like that, like it's a skill, right? And this is where we step into mediumship, but it's all, again, it's all third eye, because the relationships and what you know, see in a spirit or in your house or anywhere else is no different, is no different to the waking day. Okay, so you wouldn't have a stranger walking around in your house, you know, just randomly, or this is a stranger, like, you know what I mean? So if you sense a spirit doing that, you can tell them to leave, right? And this is the other thing where I shared that dream around, you know, them coming to my border fence line, right? It's so interesting. There's a strong boundary there, even in my dreams, okay? And I'm really pointing this out because you need to put them boundaries in place in your dreams too, okay? And I'll share how to do that as well. Because, you know, like them just coming in and out, you just wouldn't have them walking in and out of your house, would you? Like, you just wouldn't. So if you sense a spirit, tell it to leave, okay? Now, you can just, you know, like, you can also, you know, you can always call upon Archangel Michael of 100% light. You can call upon any deity or spiritual being or angel of 100% light, right? You can do that, okay? But what the most powerful thing is you commanding that being to leave your house now. Imagine if you had a stranger in your house. Would you just be like, you'd probably call the cops, right? You probably would. So you can do the same with, you know, you can call upon Archangel Michael or your tiger of 100% light and tell him to get out, right? Same thing though, it's like commanding and demanding, this is my house, time for you to leave now, right? If you are not, when you go to sleep at night, if you are not like, you know, you normally lock up your windows in your house, you might walk around and just make sure the doors are locked and the windows are shut or whatever it is, right? When you're doing that, you're also putting up your white energetic walls, you're locking the energetic doors, okay? Same thing, right? So it's really important to know that you don't have to just, oh, someone's just in the house, right? And there is so many like different things that go off on this, okay? You might be called to your mediumship skills, you might be being called to step up as a healer. There might be a spirit that's wanting you to help them. And it's so important, this bit, okay? This is like the people pleasers and empaths of the world, okay? Just because you are a medium or you have, you can sense spirits in your room, or you can sense the spirit realm, because empaths do. That's why we sense all this energy and we can feel everything, and even the volcano that's happening 2 countries away, right? We can feel that. Doesn't mean that we have to help everybody, okay? Doesn't mean that you have to help everybody on the street, okay? There's ways that we can help them without burning out, okay? Now, when I said about having boundaries in your dreams, right, and I shared with you about how those men came up to my boundary fence line on my property and then actually, you know, were like, oh, can we test you? And I'm like, no. Like, the thing is, guys, you have to remember that with every and all the stuff going on in the world, they have to ask for consent. They have to ask for consent. You do not have to consent to anything, okay? And the same goes in the spirit world. Yeah, the same goes in the spirit world. Okay, you have to really remember that just because it's in the spirit world, they're not all 100% light beings. They're not all 100% angelic. Oh my God, they're amazing. They might help you, right? But they might have other agendas at play. Okay, and that's why I always say, ask, is it of 100% light? Okay, whenever you hear a message or a voice or whatever, like some people like will post in my group and that's what it's for. But always, you always, if you're not sure, and this is another thing, right? We think we're just supposed to know what it means. No, we need to ask, oh, who is that? Are you of 100% light? and like you'll know, right? And another thing that you can do is just like imagine all this diamond white crystalline light pouring out of your body, pouring out of you, filling your entire house like a big sphere, a big, octagon. If you haven't got my internal compass chakra clearing meditation, activate your internal compass, right, which is north, south, east, west, above and below. That creates like an octagon around you, right? And you can expand that out. Your house has one of those as well. You switch it on, and how do you switch it on? You just imagine, right? You use your imagination and you see and imagine your whole house full of this diamond crystallite light, yeah? So you can really expand that out, fill it up, right? And that's almost like, it's like a protection shield in a way, right? It's coming from within you, yeah? So Teresa says, but why do I feel like I have to help everyone? So again, when we're looking at this, right? And this is why I started talking about the third eye, because it's all relational to third eye. Funnily enough, we're on Sacral Chakra Day, which is third eye and the sacral connected, which I always say, right? So the third eye, and when you say, why do I feel like I have to help everyone? So this is deep, okay? This goes deep, okay? In the third eye, it's all about relationships, okay? Not just like, oh, my lover and me. Like I'm talking about, we have a relationship with our phone. We have a relationship with our Palo Santo. We have a relationship with our beautiful crystals. We have a relationship with our animal. We have our relationship with our children. We have a relationship with our neighbors. We have a relationship with the presidents. We have a relationship with absolutely everything. We even have a relationship with how we feel in our body, okay? We are relating to everything all the time, okay? So you have to really realize, truth realization, third eye, how deep and how big the advanced third eye chakra consciousness is, okay? So when we look at why do I feel like I have to help everyone, it's like talking about spirit's world or whatever, right, as well. Again, there's no separation, right? That needing to feel like you have to help everyone stems from the relationship you had from growing up as a child. Now, there's no good, bad, right or wrong or anything like that, right? Because when we grow up as a child, we're just around all these, people growing up and we just learn these patterns and this is just the way we are, right? So when you say, well, why do I have to feel like I have to help everyone? It stems from really deep inside you, okay? And as fast as we can just say, no, I'm not doing that anymore, all this stuff will come up and guilt and all this sort of thing, right? So when we look at that, it does take some work to stop helping everybody and actually help ourselves for a change, right? So when we look at relating and relationships, there is heaps of webs out there and what, that stems from. At the end of the day, the thing that, that you can work on is definitely, inner child, but there's, different layers of it, okay? But the thing you have to ask yourself is this supporting me? Is me helping everybody supporting me? Is that really supporting me to be at my best, to be at my fullest, And if you're like, well, no, I'm burnt out and I'm exhausted all the time and I've got all this energy and I'm taking on everyone's stuff, right? It's because your energy is depleted and you haven't filled yourself up, and that comes when we're constantly helping other people, right? So yes, 100% never had approval. Yeah, so awesome. Okay, you've hit the nail there, right? And we know where it stems from. If we just think a bit and we're like, okay, so the reason you can't say no is because you're fearing rejection and you need to be validated to feel loved, right? And so you're like, okay, if I do this for everyone, they're going to give me praise. And most of the time, people don't freaking care either. Some people are grateful, but other times we're like, and then we wonder why we've got all these health issues or can't sleep or all of it, yeah? All right, so what was I speaking about there? So I see these comments, I'll just go through these. Okay. So yes, weird dreams. So weird, strange, vivid dreams. Oh yeah, the boundaries, right? So you know how I said about, I'll just speak to this quickly. So the boundaries in the dream and how put in the dream when they came to me and like the fence, they had to come to the boundary fence and ask me for permission. Now, I was surprised by that and not. I was actually really proud of myself, right? Because I feel like personally that has stemmed from a long time ago when I learned all this stuff from the boundaries and the spirit world and stuff. I don't just have people walking through my house, and I mean spirits, okay? I don't just have spirits randomly turning up, like very, very rarely, okay? Why? Because I set a strong boundary with the spirit world when I learnt this stuff, yeah, years ago. I said, unless that spirit wants, like, if that spirit wants me to help them via a mediumship session with someone or something like that, they don't come to me. They get that person to book in with me, and then I help support that person and the spirit. That's a really strong boundary that I've had. Otherwise, my house would be full of spirits all the damn time, and I would be burnt out helping them, let alone taking all on their energetic stuff. Why? Because they're just in my house. Whether it's a physical person in my house or a spirit in my house, I'm going to take on all their energetic stuff. Why? Because they're in my house. Because I'm that close to them. Yeah? So it's not just like, oh, there's a presence there. It's also like, you know, this spirit with its aura and all its stuff still on it. Because just like people, as an empath, we feel all their stuff. And just because they're in a spirit world doesn't mean they're an angelic, like 100% light being of, no. They're still exactly the same. They just don't have their physical body with them anymore. All the patterns, all the relationship problems, all the dynamics, all the emotions, that person might as well still have their skin on them. Yeah? And I'm saying this sort of bluntly so that you guys know as empaths how important this is. Okay? So I would be setting a really strong boundary, right? Of like, okay, no more spirits come to me unless, and put all these boundaries in place. Okay, these are your rules, right? It's almost like your energetic shop, so to speak, and all the spirits see you, because when we do spiritually awaken, our light gets brighter in the spirit world, and so we sense heaps more. Why do we sense all these presences when we come like spiritually aware? Oh, because like in the spirit world, our light has become brighter because we're awake, right? And so everyone's like, oh, okay, she can help us, right? And then we're like, oh, these presences, what are they doing here? Like that's what happens. So you want to put your shop sign up and say, hey, these are the rules of my shop. Come in, right? Or don't come in. You need to go and do that first, right? They're the rules, right? I say rules of a shop, and it's like whether you're getting paid for this stuff or not, you need to have rules. They're another way called boundaries, and it's another way of saying, hey, I'm not willing for you to do that to my energy. Yeah? Really important. Need to give more self-care. Yep, you should be doing that every day. Yeah? All right, so, okay, I have MS, and I really think it's more from being an empathetic. Yes, 100%. Oh, yes. So much I could say about that in itself. Okay, so Tanya says, weird, strange, vivid dreams. Dreamt last night of my clear quartz crystal ball. I love that. Clear quartz amplifying. It's got lots of clear quartz. Paula says, yes, the last 2 nights have dreamed loads and on waking I can't recall a thing. Yeah, I've been doing that too, right? And I'm like, oh, what is going on here? Like it's like I'm fully conscious of it, and as soon as I wake, I'm like, and I always just lay there for a bit longer. Like, I don't have my hands on my face probably when I first wake up. But when I wake up and I'm just like, I'm conscious of just laying there, because I usually remember them. And like for about the past week, hasn't been happening. And I'm like, but it's just there. It's so real. It's so like, it's just there. I'm like, damn it, what the fuck is that? And then I see everyone posting and, you know, commenting and stuff and asking me questions. And I'm like, yeah, the other realms, like the veil's thin, right? But there was one of my posts in one of my students in my Trust Intuition support group actually said, you know, when like around so, and it's interesting because I went through a storm came through here 2 weeks ago. I lost power for 24 hours. I lost it. There's so much more to the story, but I lost it. But it was really interesting. It was like my first real big storm, maybe because I'm out in the country a bit now, but it was literally like a tornado went around my house, in a sense of like, I've got like the old Queenslander flat windows, you know, the ones that you push out, and then, you know, there's other ones too. But on that, and it was like this wind went around, and it was like someone was running around the house opening all the windows. Like they all opened. Like it was intense, right? And I was just like, wow, you know, and the reason I'm sharing that is because it felt like something came through. It was like, yeah, a storm came through, right? However, when one of my students was sharing in the group, it was like, you know, it was like nothing that she could do with all the spiritual tools and the spirits and everything get out, like could stop it. And I was like, wow, sounds like you're in the storm. like that's the same feeling, right? But she's like, it's completely still outside, right? And then another person is also posting around like the lucid dreams, which you guys are saying you're having as well, and you're not like remembering anything as well in that space. So yeah, I'll speak more to that in a second. So Alina says, I felt a presence early in the morning, had to turn on all my lights. The baby, I think, saw something coming too. And after that, he wouldn't go back to sleep and was crying a lot. Yeah, you can fully feel it, right? And Lena says, I had the weirdest dream last night. Huge storm was coming, and instead of rain, there were buildings, cars, planes, etc. falling from the sky. My neighbor was there too. The only safe way was through the water, which was incredibly rough ocean. Okay, so another client of mine has dreamt, I don't know, it was probably in the past month, I'd say, about lightning in a red sky. So like all this red sky in, I think it's lightning fire in the red sky. And then there was someone else saying something really weird too. And what I want to point out, guys, is it feels like to me, this is actually other realms that are like here now or something. And I don't know how to describe this, right? It's like all these other realms are here, like, and as we say, like when we, you know, sleep, we're not really sleeping, like who knows where we really go, what have you, but there's all these planes of existence, yeah, in just like our aura has all these different layers, in reality there's all these different realms of existence. And I feel like, you know, going back to the one that felt like a storm, and like you know, how I said the storm came through for me, and then with one of my students, it when I was tuning into what she was saying, I could see like a sphere, right? A sphere of like this, I want to say a portal, right? But it's not like a portal where we disappear. This is like a moving sphere of a reality of very dark spirits, of all these spirits, of like, you know, like the feeling that comes to mind. I don't know why this is coming to mind, right? The feeling that's coming to mind is like in Hocus Pocus, the movie, it's like when they're like, you know, coming into this, I don't know how to say it. Like, I can't remember. I haven't watched it for so long. I used to watch it all the time as a kid. It's almost like when they're doing the ritual or whatever, or I don't know. God, that movie. Why am I talking about that movie? This is what came to mind, right? And so that sphere that just came through recently, one of my students, it was like, that's the energy of it. Like, that's sort of a dark portal. Now, like I keep saying, guys, we just had Halloween. We just had Halloween on a blue moon, right? Once in a blue moon. That's when the storm came through and took my power out. Interesting. Full moon. Still did the full moon ceremony because we can do that in candlelight and with charged devices because I had a feeling that might happen. Anyway, getting sidetracked. Sphere comes through, right? It traveled through. That's what it felt like. Now, what are they doing in that instance? I don't know, right? But I also feel like there's all these spheres of existence like this at the moment, like, you know, passing through all these realms of everything. Now, remember a while ago on the whatever a live stream I said, like, you know, in the past few months, right? And I said there's not timelines anymore. It's not like lines. It's like little dots. That's what the timelines are. They're not lines anymore. They're not. Like, this is how rapidly the timelines are changing. And I feel like there's something similar with these spheres and realms, like passing through each other. And that's why I was like, whoa, like, what was that? Like, you know, so I don't really know the depths of what's happening just yet. But I did say, and I have been saying for months, that it's only going to increase, and it's only going to increase, you know, when they keep talking about this December 21st thing, like ultimately it's already happening, and it has been happening since the eclipses happened back in that May-June portal, and all those series of eclipses happened in 3 months or something. Time has changed. Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you. I see all the comments. I am going to get to them all. So time has definitely changed too, right? So when we talk about timelines, right? But now we're on these like dots. They're not timers anymore, and they're all like this. Like a timeline's like, cool, we're going this way, or this timeline's happening this way, or this is a timeline that way. It's like, nah, like little, I want to say little matrix squares. How's all these movie analogies coming out right now? All these matrix squares, all these pixel squares. How interesting. Goodness me. Okay, time. Okay. As we increase in, I don't know, I don't like using the word ascension Yeah, I don't like using the word ascension, even though one of my main big courses is Rapid Ascension Awakening, okay? Now, the thing about ascension is like, everyone's like, yeah, we're ascending. And hey, check it out. Hang on a sec. Can I show you guys? How do I, oh my goodness, I want to get rid of all my notifications. Okay, check it out. 11:11 on the 11th. Had all my notifications on there. So talking about time on the 11/11/11 portal. So time, if we think about this is how the timelines are now. No wonder time feels like it's speeding up, or that it is, for me personally, I feel like there's not enough time in the day. And one of my clients said that, but that's not how I usually feel, right? Because I've done a lot of work on time. In 2018, I was on the Lord of Time Trinity of the liquid crystals for 5 months in a row, like 5 sessions of it for over 5 months. And I'm just taking another round of it now, and I haven't actually taken it since 2018. And it's interesting that I've been like revisiting all this time stuff, right? But I also feel like time is not just speeding up for people right now, but it's changing, and I don't know how to describe that. So yeah, you might feel like there's not enough time in the day. There's not enough time, you know, in this, there's not enough time, right? But it's a different thing, because like I said, I've done a lot of work around time, and really like, I choose to believe that I have enough time. I've always got enough time to get everything I've done. I make my own day, I make my own time, blah, 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 right? So stagnant yet speeding time. Yeah, it's so interesting, right? So, and things are moving fast. There is a lot of rapid, fast shifts going on. That's only going to increase as well, right? So on the December 21st, right, when we talk about, there's, you know, people are like, oh, it's December 21st, like maybe, there's 21 people live right this second, maybe something is going to happen, but maybe it's, you know, planned. Maybe it's kind of human-made planned, I don't know. At the end of the day, what I do know is that there's a super high frequency coming into the planet from goodness knows well, some other realm. I got told by my Draconian being guide back in middle of the year that between the 25th and the 1st of January. So everyone's saying the 21st of December, but when I saw some article going around about it, some video, they actually said it starts on the 21st, but you won't feel the effects until the 25th. And I'm like, that's interesting. But I also want to say, guys, did you know that that portal of energy, of that timeline of that high frequency happens every Christmas, New Year? So amazing that they've set Christmas, New Year on this amazing high frequency portal time. So we're all distracted from it. It's kind of really amazing. I don't know. It's just so amazing how all this is happening, and like how it's all been happening. It's just really, of course, why wouldn't we do it any other way, right? It's really amazing. Really amazing. So, Lena, when you're saying about the really weird dream and the huge storm coming in, instead of rain, there was buildings and stuff. Do you know what it reminds me of when you say that? It reminds me of in the movie Inception. All these amazing movies that we've been talking about today. It's so incredible. In Inception, have you guys seen Inception with Leonardo DiCaprio? I love Leonardo DiCaprio, so that's why I've seen Inception many, many times. And then I've learned more about Inception recently, and I'm like, oh, this is so interesting. So if you don't know the movie Inception, Inception is about how they plant ideas in our subconscious mind in our dream state. How about that? How about that? I'm pretty sure it came out like, it was before 2012, because that's when I started watching it. Yeah, don't you reckon that's amazing? Like Inception is about, the movie is about how they plant ideas deep in our subconscious mind. That's like, wow. And when you really grasp the concept of all the stuff that's surfaced about the truth about movies, it's like, wow, it's even more interesting. Wow. So it's even more potent to have boundaries in your dreams. So I would be declaring now, guys, right? I would be declaring that these shop window signs for your daytime hours and for your sleeping hours, right? Start putting some rules up. Definitely. So when you'd said that, Lena, about the rain, there was instead of rain and storms, it was buildings and cars and planes falling from the sky. In Inception, how she moves it's flat, and how she moves it up, and then she moves it up so there's a whole city like above them and stuff, you know, and what we can do in dreams. It's so amazing. It's like, oh, how interesting. It's so interesting. All right. So I just want to say, on these really strange, weird dreams that we're having, I personally don't feel that they're just a dream state and we're like interpreting dreams. I was even thinking before this live stream, I was like, you know what? It's kind of really interesting to me, because I was going to write a book around dream interpretation and the symbols of dreams, but I feel like I'm too late for that, right? I'm way too late for that. I should have written that 10 years ago, because dreams these days, oh, they're way more intricate. Like, maybe it's always been like that, but you know, like interpreting the dreams that we're having these days, they aren't for interpreting of the normal intuitive stuff about our, you know, what we're processing. Like sometimes they are, but more often than not these days, it's the next level space that we're dealing with here. Yeah, there's no differentiation between our waking state and our sleeping state. Always remember that when you're having certain dreams, right? And it's not to scare you, but to know that you can put the same boundaries in place that you would in the physical world. Yeah. If you ever have any issues with dreams or dream interpretation, please post to my reality awareness support group. There is many of us that are really good at interpreting dreams, right? So yeah, we can definitely do that. So Rita says, would like to know what an owl perched looking at you means. So owls are always about wisdom. And if it's looking at you, I would be saying, for me, that's just a sign of like, are you listening to your wisdom? Are you listening to your wisdom? Are you learning from your past about this situation, right? There's an owl in front of your face. Owls also very connected to eye light, the liquid crystal, which is also very connected to, funny about that, the third eye. So Shari says, when I sit to meditate now, I get things racing by or through my mind so fast. Would this be because of dot timeline stuff or faster time? Definitely, definitely. Hey, Wooch. Wooch. He's sitting underneath the house and the floorboards have been. It's okay, mate. Yeah, definitely about the things are speeding up because the timeline dots, definitely. But also, I feel personally like everything's speeding up, and maybe that's represented in a timeline, definitely. But I feel like, you know, time, it's almost like it feels like it's going to speed up. And it's so interesting okay, so I'm just going to talk about here for a minute with the Dark Mother Grid, because I know Shari, you in particular, had asked me about it, and it feels relevant to talk about this now, because in one of the activations through Transcendence, which is where the Dark Mother Grid and the releasing from the Dark Mother Grid and activating the Light Mother Grid and all of that is unplugging from the Satanic Grid, okay? So when we're like stuck and repetitive cycles, and no matter what we're doing and we're in this loophole, you need to unplug from that. Now, I'm still toying with the fact of releasing the Dark Mother Grid, releasing meditation publicly by itself. Now, the only reason that I'm holding back about that is because the whole thing is like, you know, like my only hesitation is like everything in Transcendence over the 6 weeks, right? You guys might have seen me talk about Transcendence recently, is like a whole like transcending from that. And there's so much other dark stuff we're transcending from, right? And it's very different, right? Like I keep saying, if you guys have had experience of my crystalline chakra activations, you'll see it's a very different frequency. Transcendence, next level again, of a very different frequency of anything I've ever brought through before, right? And so the releasing from the Dark Mother Grid, I don't just want to release that separately, only because my hesitation is because I just don't want to leave you in limbo then, right? Yeah, it's in Transcendence, yeah. And I've been tuning into it. I'm going to run another round of Transcendence about February next year, so you can get ready for that, because like if it's calling you, because honestly, like the shifts and the rapid shifts that people are having in there already, but I've already been tuning in, because honestly, like I could release the Dark Mother Grid, but honestly it doesn't feel, what's the word, like ethical for me to do that on its own, because I literally don't want to leave you in limbo while you're just, you know, let's unplug, but then where are you going, right? And the rest of Transcendence enables us to transcend through the right plugging in, if that makes sense. Like, it's really hard to describe, but that's a basic sort of thing about it, right? So when we talk about the Dark Mother Grid and the Satanic Dark Mother Grid, very similar, but different frequencies. Same, but different, okay? And with everything we've seen going on the planet and everything we've learned this year and everything that's still coming to light and blah, 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 like that's what that is. It's that dark grid. But when we talk about the dark mother grid, it's a whole nother ball game, right? Because when we look at, we've been in the dark for years, when we look at the patriarchals being in control, but ultimately the dark mother has, because they suppressed they suppressed the feminine, did they not? So that means she's been down in the dark, she's been in the evil, and she's kind of stuck down there, if that makes sense. And we've been, I want to say, what's the word? Not reaping the benefits. What's the other word? We've been feeling the effects of it for eons. Yeah, the dark, the fall of consciousness and stuff. That's the unconscious dark mother, right? Because they've suppressed it, right? Dark mother grid. Yes, that's what I'm saying, Rita. Yeah. All right, so let me just check this. So, yeah, Lena's one of my trust intuition students. She's awesome. So Jeanette's just saying, Lena Dabrowski, practitioner, told me a lot about spiritual people need to protect their dreams at night. Around this time, I was told this morning. Yeah, it's really strong at the moment, really, really strong. So put your boundaries up, guys, your daytime boundaries and nighttime. Like literally get a piece of paper, write a list and put them on. Like, I'm not kidding. Like in big, thick texter, like you would on a shop window, like stick it up if you must. Like, they're like a daytime person, they can read. Like, it's not, I'm not joking. I'm not joking, right? Might seem crazy, but it ain't so crazy when you're gonna have a good night's sleep after a while. After not for a while. Okay, so Josephine says it's like there's no day and night, in a sense that if I happen to wake up at say 2:30, I'll do stuff then instead of trying to get back to sleep. Yeah, I'm the same. I'm up at 3:30 and that is the whole day, like the sun's up, cool. Like, but time is definitely speeding up. All right, so Rita, I'm not sure if you watched the whole live stream, but I was talking about ways we can protect, protect ourselves in our dream state towards the start of this live stream. So please watch it if you haven't. Yeah, it felt very much like Inception, Lena says. It's a thing. And this is where I feel like too, right? You know how, and they say in that movie, and it's so true, that little moment, and he says, think about it. What's her name? Ariana Dubney or something, I don't know. I really love that name. But anyway, in a dream, you'd actually never really know how you got here. Think about it. How did we get here? And like, then everything starts happening in the movie. Because it's like, oh, well, yeah, right? We're just there, right? So when we talk about portal and realm, it's like we're just there. When we talk about intuition, we're just there. This is where I always say to you guys, we don't need to leave our body to astral travel. No freaking way, right? I've never done that. I don't like it. I don't recommend it at all. A lot of people are like, here's how you astral travel. And I'm like, don't leave your body, guys. Like, no. And the like, when we talk about the spiritual myths, I want to say, so much more I can say to that. One of them is that we astral travel, or we can teach and learn how to astral travel. I'm like, guys, you do not want to leave your body, especially if you are an angelic human. You do not want to leave your body, because whether we're astral travel and leaving our body, or we are like, drinking alcohol and we leave our body, or drugs and we leave our body, or whatever your substance is, other dark beings overtake your body. So you never want to leave your body. You always want to stay connected to your body and grounded in your body, right? And so when we, like remote viewing, it's not even remote viewing, I guess, but I guess in a way you could call it that, right? What I teach in Trust Intuition is the fact that you just literally sit there, like I'm here with you guys right now, but I could be down at the dam, right, on my property down there, and seeing what's going on. Like I can do that from here. I'm there now, but I'm here. But I don't need to leave my body to see what's going on down there. That takes practice. It is a skill, definitely, but every empath has it. Okay, but you do not need to leave your body to do that. You don't, right? And so when we look at, like when we talk about the movie Inception and traveling or astral travel or anything like that, it's like, no, like every night before I go to bed, I'm like, well, not every night, these are the boundaries. And I talk about those original boundaries I've set a long time ago, right? When I learned this stuff, I was like, these are the rules. Like, no, right? That I don't leave my body. I stay connected to my body. I just wish someone had told me that through pregnancy. I mean, not pregnancy, childbirth. Anyway, that was a lesson in itself. What if you astral traveled without trying? Yeah, so I'd be very, very connected to your body. Yeah, and that might sound contradictory. And you're like, Hannah, you said not like astral traveling. And I'm like, well, you don't need to leave your body. This is the thing. This is the lie. This is the lie, guys. This is the truth about the lie. I am here to break the myths of modern day spirituality. That is what I'm here for, right? This is the lie, okay? What if you astral traveled without trying? Tune in instead of astral traveling. Yes, exactly, right? Tune in, because the lie is that we have to leave our body to travel somewhere. We don't. Our gift is that strong, acutely clear, and powerful that we don't. Our gift is that we're already there. Does that make sense? When we talk about teleporting, that's our whole body going somewhere. That's not a part of us astral traveling out and thus freaking knows what they're doing to our body in that instance. No, we don't need to leave our body. When we teleport, our whole system goes with it. Our whole being goes with it, right? That's the gift we have now, right? So the astral traveling, in my opinion, is one of the myths they have told us so that they can overtake, do implants and all sorts of things to our body while we're not freaking there. Definitely, right? Definitely. Which is right under my face. They sit underneath my room on the house. Anyway, so I don't know how to pronounce your name. Is it Tara Lemon? Sorry, I'm pronouncing that wrong. I know it. I love that you're speaking through experience. A lot of people don't know how to do this safely. Keep it up. Yeah, 100%, right? 100%. Yeah, let's talk about this, Jeanette. Okay, let me get to that. Okay, so Shari says, I could have done this the other day at 2:30 a.m. Sometimes getting up at 2, if we can't get back to sleep, sometimes getting up and doing the stuff that's been bugging us and we haven't had time to do during the day is like a thing. Definitely. When I'm up early, then I can't sleep. That doesn't really happen these days. But what I always make sure is that the next night, right? So you're up at 2:30, you stay up, sun's up, kids are up for a whole day now. I make sure that I go to bed at 7:30 when the kids do, for example, yeah, or sundown. I'm like, sweet, early night for everyone tonight, right? So always just make sure you count that factor in. Make sure you do that. Okay, so Alina says, I had a disgusting dream like I was chewing on roaches and I kept trying to spit them out and more kept coming out. Yeah, so I know a little bit about what's going on for you. So when we're in a relationship or situation that we know that we need to leave and we're not listening to our intuition, things get worse and worse. The world crumbles around us and we get sick. There's a lot of dark entities and negativity around us and stuff like that. And that's not because like somebody's cursed us. The only curse is you not trusting your intuition and leaving. Yeah, and I say that with so much love. Yeah, if you like are constantly attracting bad situations and negative stuff and all these entities and stuff, you're probably not listening to your intuition, like 99.99999%, right? Probably not listening to your intuition about leaving that situation because your intuition's like, wrong way, dead end, but you consider you keep going past the dead end and like, that gets darker. Let's get darker, and we know what happens in a lot of dark portals. It's like shit we don't even want to think about. But we experience that when we don't listen to our intuition about leaving when we know what we're supposed to. And I say that with so much love. Okay. All right. So I just spoke to those comments. Okay. So TJ, okay, thank you. Thank you. That's easier. Okay, so Jeanette says, oh, Hannah, I'm scared now. I left my body on my bed. I was guided to climb through a light window and follow a path. I came into a room full of me's, all on a stand that I had to choose one that looked and felt confident and strong. I did, and I was told to climb and bring her home. What happens now? Okay, so can you please let me know, like when you say, I left my body on my bed, I was guided to climb through a light window and follow a path. So can you say, like, can you let me know, like, well, who guided you? Okay, and this is a real life example, guys, right, where I'm saying, When you hear a voice or you sense something or you're like being guided to do something, you say, well, hang on a sec, who are you? You have to remember, right, always, and even in your dream state, right, this is something you write on your boundary thing. Even in your dream state, you say these things, right? Like, it's like, hang on, who are you? Sorry, you have to remember, this is like a stranger knocking on your door. Who are you? Sorry, where are you from? Are you of 100% light? Show me a badge, right? In this day and age, we'd be like, okay, show me a badge or no, I'm not interested, thank you. Bye, close the door, right? Same thing. So, Jenna, I ask you, like, who guided you to climb, through the window? Like, was it a guided meditation of mine, perhaps, because all of mine are 100% light protected? Was it that? Or was it, something else? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, the same thing. Like, sorry, where am I going? Why? Are you of 100% light? Is this portal of light of 100% light? Is it? Tell me what's in there before I walk in there. Who are you, sorry? Okay. Are you of 100% light? 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 If you keep saying that and they are not of the highest 100% light of divine service to others, they will leave. Yeah? Okay, so Jeanette says, I was in a guided meditation. Okay, awesome, right? So make sure that the guided meditations you listen to are from someone that you know, like, love, and trust, and you know whose work is of 100% light, of the 100% highest divine service to others, okay? And maybe you think that my work's not that, and that's good. I need you to trust intuition over me, okay? So what I'm saying is that if it's in a guided meditation, usually, depending on who channeled that and who, what their work's like and whatever, usually it's all good, right? So you just need to, tune in. So like, if you were just laying there, Jeanette, and you were half going to sleep and then you just started leaving your body, like, I'd be questioning that, right? But if you were in a guided meditation, it's okay. Yeah? 99% of the time, right? So yeah, don't stress about that, okay? Because the other thing you need to check, guys, right? If you're not sure, okay? How did I feel afterwards? Did I feel empowered? Did I feel better? Did I feel lighter? Did I feel clearer? Okay. Now, I want to say that not all meditations can do that, in a sense that it can bring up deeper stuff. And this is why it's so important to be working with a practitioner who knows what the F they're doing. Yeah. So important. Okay. So, and as you say, Jeanette, you said, I was in a guided meditation, I was sent, and I was asked to climb inside the new strong me and bring her back. The meditation integrated us. Yes, awesome. It sounds like shadow work. Okay. So again, if you were just laying there and then out of the blue, someone like turns up and says, hey, come in this light portal with me, I'd be like, who are you? Sorry? No. But usually when you're in a guided meditation, perfect. Yeah. Or you're writing the guided meditation yourself, by the way. All right. Did I cover everything? Do you guys have any more questions? Okay. Oh, so Rita says, what is the purpose of traveling or tuning in at least? Okay, so awesome question. Yes, the feeling, Josephine says, exactly right. So I just want to say on that. So if you come out of a meditation, you feel confused or you feel sick, or like for the next few days, you're like, well, I still don't feel right, or you're traumatized from it, like, a good meditation doesn't leave the trauma sitting there. It tidies it up, okay, which all my meditations do. There's a client of mine recently that, got taken through this past life regression and was just left with this trauma for years. And I'm like, it's like flashing in her mind all the time. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, I can't believe people do that. She did mine and it was instantly healed, right? So it's really important that you work with a practitioner who knows what they're doing. I don't train healers for no reason. Yeah, I don't have a certified intuitive healer course for no reason. Yeah. Okay. So what is the purpose of traveling or tuning in? Okay. Like I said, really good question. What is the purpose of astral traveling or tuning in or whatever, right? And the thing is that we do it anyway. We're an empath, we're a sensitive person, we feel everything, we feel like I said, the volcano 2 countries away, like, we feel it anyway. Yeah? We're doing the dishes and we're like, all of a sudden we're like, whoa, wait, hang on a sec, back to reality. Where was I a second ago? Right? Daydreams, you know, all of that stuff. We do it anyway. So the purpose of it isn't so much the purpose, but the fact that that's who we naturally are. And so fine tuning it so that you're able to receive your intuitive guidance and your intuitive information instead of like it sideswiping you, or you do get, you know, taken away or whatever, like, you know, and that doesn't usually happen. It happens when, you know, you just, you know, it happens when you're usually abusing substances, you know, or in situations where you're not listening to your intuition, because like I said, you go down that dark portal more. Alina, I did answer that question earlier in the live stream, so you might want to rewatch the replay. I did answer that for you. So the purpose of traveling or tuning in is that we do it so naturally, right? So we want to fine tune our gift as an empath, as a sensitive healer, as a sensitive person, right? Because, you know, like we have, you know, like we feel all this stuff anyway. So we want to know what to do with the darkness. We want to know what to do with the darkness when that wakes up through us. We want to know, like, because when we have a spiritual awakening and we become aware and sensitive, we sense everything in the spirit. We sense all different layers of it, right? So we need to know what happens, what to do when this dark stuff turns up, because it does, right? It does. So I just want to say, Alina, you said it was like some type of exorcism like stuff. And I was like, yeah, definitely sensed that when I read it about the cockroaches and stuff coming out. But when, you know, like again, whether it was a curse or an exorcism or anything like that, when we're in a situation or relationship or not listening to our intuition about leaving a certain situation, we go further down that black hole, and down that black hole is all those sorts of vibes of things and curses and exorcism stuff and all sorts of rituals, like in that black hole. But as soon as we're listening to our intuition and taking the lighter path, which is the path our intuition is guiding us to be on, we're automatically protected from all that stuff, right? So if all your darkness, you know, and spirit stuff is not working, of like trying to protect the space and it's just not working, ask yourself, like, is there a thing of a situation where I'm actually not listening to my intuition? Am I 100% on path? Like, what is that gentle nudging on the shoulder that I know I need to do and I haven't taken action on? What is that thing that I'm ignoring that I know I need to do? Right? Because as soon as you do, that's your automatic protection. Why? Because you just pulled back on path, and on path, you're not down in the hole where you get, you know, attacked by all that stuff, right? So that's okay, Alina. So Rita says, use to learn your intuition more. Yeah, exactly of what I said. So Rita says, can you help someone who went down the dark hole? 100% if they're willing to do the work, right? So, and what I mean by that is that some people know that they're not listening to their intuition. Some people know that they need to leave a certain situation. I've been there many times, so I can speak from experience about this wholeheartedly. Oh my goodness. And it's not that we're not listening, because we are, but it's also a certain level of readiness to really listen to our intuition, to come into the light. So this is why Transcendence is so powerful, because sometimes we're also stuck in that loop, you know, I spoke about before, and we're stuck in that loop in the dark mother grid, because that's what it's doing, keeping us there, looshing us, all sorts of implants, all sorts of rituals, all sorts of stuff. And like, because it keeps us in that certain vibration that they take the emotions from, this is why, oh my God, it's exhausting just fucking saying it, right? And so in Transcendence, we're actually like removing ourselves from that, so it makes it easier to just do what we're here to do, right? So yes, I know it's a little bit funny. So yes, you can help someone who's gone down a dark hole, but the thing is, not out of like, I'll save you, I can help you. No, they've got to be ready to do the work. They've got to come themselves, right? They can still be down there and I'm helping them, but unless they're doing the work and they're willing to come along and do it to pull themselves out, there's no point, and I'll just drain myself even more, right? And this is where I'm passionate about helping people who are ready to do the work themselves, right? Rather than like, there's no, trust me, I've been there, I've done that. It doesn't work. We all know that you can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped. We all know that that just exhausts us to no end, and we end up being the ones that need help, right? Or they turn around and tell us that we're the crazy ones that actually need help. And we're like, oh my God, we knew we should have left when we're supposed to. Yeah. So if they're down there, yes, definitely. I help a lot of people come out of those dark holes. That's my gift, right? That level of darkness, that is my gift. But that person has to be willing to do the work that I am guiding them to be able to come out. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about these energy vampires. Let's talk about these energy vampires. They are only an energy vampire because you are allowing them to take your energy. It is not them, said with love, said with so much love. Those energy vampires are not you. I mean, they're not, it's not them. It's you. Why? Because you're down in that black hole trying to fix them and save them. And so they turn around and they're like, oh, okay, this is good. Yeah, keep going. And then like you know, fight or whatever. And then there's this thing and they're like, oh, you're the crazy one, go away from me. And then we're like, what? I was only trying to help. How can you not understand? Right? And then we feel even drained because we're giving them all out, giving them our all. We are giving them our all. And they're not ready to come. Unless a person is willing to do the work themselves, they are not the energy vampire. You are being vampired because you're still down there yourself. And you know you shouldn't be. Because 99.9% of the time, you know that you're not supposed to be there. You know that. Deep inside, you know that. But for all those relationship dynamic stuff that we spoke about at the start of this live stream on the third eye, is why you can't release yourself from there. Yeah? There's so much. Yeah? Joy says, amen, I feel drained at the moment. Yeah, look at where you're not listening to your intuition, because I guarantee your life could be falling apart and everything's failing and everything that you've worked so hard, everything is failing. But the minute you go, I'm not letting that do that to me anymore, and walk on the path that intuition told you ages ago to leave, everything will fall into place without you even doing a thing. You do need to do some things, but it will be effortless and you'll be like, oh, I can breathe. And then all of a sudden all this stuff and you're like, oh my God, it's happening again. Okay, like, yes, finally, okay, I'm not going down there again because everything suffered when I did. But the minute you step away, right? The minute you step away, it's better. Yeah? All right, trying to help people instead of myself. Yeah, why are you in the black hole, Joy? Right? And I want to point this out, guys, okay? Because the answer is this. If you are down in the black hole, you are probably like, and you're drained because you're exhausted helping people, okay? This is what the problem is that you, beautiful dear light worker, aren't owning the fact that you are a healer, that you are a light worker, that you do have a gift, or maybe you do that, but the part that you're not owning is stepping out of that black hole for the people who are not ready for you and moving into the place where people are ready and actually want your help. Now, what I mean by that is that means that instead of giving away all your energy and being in the black hole and talking to the people who are not freaking listening anyway, and that's so exhausting, you stepping into the healer that you are and building a business from it. Now, you might say, oh, I don't want to get paid for it and I don't want a business. And I'm like, so you want to stay in that black hole? Like you like this feeling, do you? Because that's what you're telling me. That's what you're telling me. The hardest transition that I had was moving from free work to paid work. And it was a journey. Trust me, it was a journey. But that's how I stopped being drained. That's how I stopped being ridiculed, exhausted, told I'm crazy. And this is how I've built my amazing supportive platform that helps many people to not be burnt out, to not get cold crazy, to trust their intuition and to leave situations that are not working for them. Yeah? Really important, guys. It is so important. It is so important. Okay. New beginnings. Alina says, that's what always happens to me. Exactly. Trying to help people instead of myself. Yes. Okay. Lena says, I'm always attracted to guys that need help, even though they lie to me. Don't tell me they need help. They all sound perfect. I later find out the guy also needs help. Okay. So this is where I also stepped out of, you know how I said about this declaration that we're writing on a piece of paper and this is a shop window? You know what I also put on that? Well, I added it later on when I realized this. I am like, I am not men's healer anymore in intimate relationship. In a relationship that is an intimate partnership, I am not their healer. Done with that role. Releasing roles in the third eye chakra consciousness. The advanced third eye chakra consciousness is that we also release and unplug from the roles that we've been playing since childhood. I can help everybody. I can fix everybody. I'm everybody's healer, especially the men in my life, especially in this intimate relationship. Where does that stem from? Because our parents were going through stuff when we were a kid, and we're a little kid going, I can fix you. I can make it better. I can do all these things because I don't want to see you upset. And then we repeat these patterns in our relationship. I am not the healer to my partner anymore. Declaration signed. That was in 2018 I made that declaration. Wasn't that long ago. I realized, I'm like, why am I attracting all this? Okay, actually declare it. Yeah. The declaration is the first part. But if you can do all this work, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I need to fix this part of me and this part of me. I'm like, unless you say the words, it's not going to happen. Yeah? Very powerful to write words down, don't we agree, guys? Yeah. In general, so we can use it for this, yeah? I now decree and declare that this is how reality is. All right, really, really powerful. Okay. Energetic vampirism, very interesting topic. Yes, yeah, it's definitely that. I did see your other comment there when you said, Richard, you said, did I miss the topic on what you were talking about on your page? I did. I was talking about that before you jumped on. So please watch the replay. And if it doesn't feel like answers it completely, please let me know. But how do I not attract people like that? Okay, I just shared, yeah, do it tonight, right? Because the declaration is the first bit. And then we can work with the childhood, you know, like little girl inside of you, like I just shared. And then also, you know, like all in the advanced third eye chakra consciousness on my website and in Rapid Ascension Awakening. This is all in there, guys. Dreams, mediumship, the dynamics in relationship, childhood stuff, mother-father healing, you know, like past, present, future stuff, past life stuff, how we understand that all. It's all in the third eye chakra consciousness. Like it's advanced third eye chakra consciousness. That's what it is. It is definitely advanced. The releasing roles, right? And I know I work with you privately, Alina, so I can send you this one. But there's also the releasing roles, right? Let alone what we're doing in Transcendence. And I know you're in there too, Alina, because you're in my inner circle. So that, right, releasing the roles, like there's a lot there, okay? But the declaration, I'm like, if you also don't declare it in yourself, you haven't really owned that either. Does that make sense? Because we're like, oh yeah, I get that, Hannah, but haven't really admitted or owned that. So it's like, yeah, I am not, like it took me a bit, like it's only 2 years ago. Yeah. I was like, I am not doing this role in relationship anymore. It's not happening. I want an equal. I want someone who's going to work on their own shit. I'm not there to heal them. And I've noticed, right, when other guys come along, right, on a dating sort of intimate level, like, you know, possible, I'm like, yeah, I know the red flags of that now and I won't even go near it. Won't even go near it. Okay, so here's some red flags of that too, by the way, guys. Constantly talk about their ex, are still deeply involved with their ex, even though they're not together. Usually they're secretly waiting for them to get back together, especially if they've got kids with that partner. Are still excessively helping them, don't have strong boundaries in place about the level of communication and contact they have with them, still have massive dramas, like they might as well still be in the same household with them. There's some like really noticeable red flags to start with. So yeah, just there's a lot of other things too, but I could write a book about that. Funnily enough, I am. Oh, how about that? Okay, Joy says, I have to learn to walk away from the people not ready. Yeah, so why are you trying to talk to a brick wall? That's exhausting, yeah? Yep, you don't take them on. Exactly. You have the boundaries before you get involved. Yeah, you have the radar switched on, as I say. So Alina says, every time I try to find good, I find out later he's not good. Yeah, and so this is very... like this is where, you know, it's not jumping into full-fledged relationships, which again is something that I've done in the past, right? Just like fully go in. Funny, he was attracted to me. They say, okay, these are the words, guys. That, oh, it's just, you just feel so amazing to be around. And, oh, it's just your energy. And you're like my kryptonite. And and we feel really like drained after being around them, right? Oh my God, it feels kind of good. And then we're just like exhausted. We don't really admit that to ourselves because, oh my God, they're paying attention to me. And they say that they love me and that I have this amazing energy. And like, oh my God, I've always been too much for people. And oh my God, they must really like me. Red flags, guys. Yeah, it's really strong. It's really strong. This is like 99% of what I help people with, yeah. Barbara says, yeah, 100%, it's quite amazing. Thank you for speaking to this. We are not victims. Yeah. It's important to be reminded over and over again that we are responsible for our lives, our energy, our actions. 100%. Yes, Barbara, 100%. Unless someone reminds us that we are allowing someone to take our energy, we can believe others are being an energy vampire. Exactly. Right? Exactly. Let me just put this on here because we've talked about energy vampirism and it's so important to really understand that concept because I need to put it in the topic. Okay. So Lena says, I can't charge for it. I don't know how to do this type of work. Okay, lucky you're working with me and we can work that out, yeah? So Carla says, yes, bless and release those people in situations that are not reciprocal. So difficult, but so worth it. Yeah, it's not easy, guys. It is not easy, or we'd all be amazing, empowered people. And, you know, that's also what they've trained society to not be. Don't ever want to go in that circle again. So Josephine says, unless the men in my life pays me. Oh, it's a bit of a fine line. Depends on the sort of relationship you have, I guess. So Joy says, actually, my parents would say, stop crying, you're fine. Yeah, and so that, like, when you say, like, actually, my parents would say, stop crying, you're fine. So there's been a lot, and I need to do that live stream in the Facebook group yet, and I haven't done it because I'm nervous to share it, to be honest. Stop crying, I'll give you something to cry about, you're fine, brushing over your feelings, and ultimately, like, you know, and so then you've got all this, like, buried pain from all those times that you were upset and all you needed was a loving cuddle. And so instead you buried all that and you're like, oh, okay, if I just be happy and really helpful and, you know, and everything's fine, then I'll be loved and accepted. Yeah. No. Oh, it's twofold, right? It's either one flip side or the other, and that's big in itself. All right, I will do it tonight. Yes, makes a lot of sense. Shari says, I guess I'll be single for a long while. Yeah. So I'm not sure if you guys know, what's her name? Jennifer. What evolved women want. So Jennifer was actually single for 4 years and actually did a lot of work on herself for 4 years before she met Graham. And now look what they do together. Amazing work, right? It's definitely worth the wait. But you've got to be willing to do the work on yourself to align to that. There are conscious men out there, but you're not opening to them, yeah? Because usually we're not attracted to them. Why? Because we've got those loophole patterns, right, I'll call them, from our childhood still running, and that's what we're attracted to, with the brain neural pathways firing off of that chemistry of like this drama and all this, like that's normal for us, and that's, even though it's draining, exhausting, we're attracted to it. Why? Because that's what we grew up in, and that sexual chemistry is like what that is from. When we unplug from that and do the work to really step over to this side, that's when we can experience the healthy love that so many of us are like, where is that? But usually we'll get sucked back down here, or we allow ourselves to stay down here and not choose to go on this side. In a way, do you know what I mean? It's not easy. Again, that's why I need to work with people who are doing that, right? Joy says, I've just decided not to ask or redirect the conversations. Do you mean with people? Do you mean? So do you mean that people are asking you for help or something, Joy, and you do it? I'm just needing more clarity on that. So Alina says, yeah, I was following but hurt guy about his past relationship, and I was like, nope. Alina say, well, yes, good, you're already doing it. Good, you're already doing it, right? Already doing it. So good. Funny he was attracted to me. Yeah, that stuff, right? Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so Lena says, yeah, my ex-husband always told me he wishes I was on drugs because he likes me like that more than I'm happy. I'm more happy. Yeah, exactly. It's like the kryptonite. It's like, I'll only love you if you're this way. I'll only give you love and attention if you're behaving like this. Joy says, yes, all I needed was just a hug, exactly, and to be told everything would be okay. For some reason, because of their own trauma, they weren't capable, hence why I always struggle as an adult, learning to heal this now. Yeah, exactly. And sometimes that's why when we do the inner child meditation, it can be like months of you just hugging and telling your inner child that you love her. Because doing it once doesn't negate 18 years plus of childhood, does it? No. So doing it for 6 months, kind of like, oh yeah, we can see how it starts to almost balance out, almost out of 18 years, right? It's why people are like, it doesn't work. I'm like, how many times have you done it? It's not an overnight shift, yeah? But it's a consistent evolutionary shift and always doing the work because we're awake and sensitive and intuitive anyway. So it's always fine-tuning our guests, yeah? Doesn't always have to be in pain. Doesn't always have to be in trauma. Doesn't always have to be in that. That's also stuck in that grid, right? When we unplug from that, we can learn to heal through joy and through a lighter way of being. Definitely, we don't have to have a breakdown crisis to heal. But sometimes we need to hit that before we're ready to go, I'm not doing it that way anymore. Like the thing, I'm not their healer anymore. Yeah? Same thing. I choose to heal through joy now. I'm done with that way of learning. I get it. Thank you. I'm ready to let in the light. Thank you. I'm ready to actually have energy and be healthy. Like definitely, right? Yes, with people not willing to change. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing where another part of like going from free stuff to paid stuff is that a lot of people like in the free stuff, even if you do help them and give them stuff, they don't do the work anyway, right? Some people do. Some people really do and they really shift. But when people start paying for services, they're serious, right? It's definitely a reality, right? And that was probably one of the hardest things when I came across from free work to paid work was, you know, realizing that so many of those people today, years later, I still see them and they're still where they are. They're still, and I see them hooking on to other healers for the same thing, but they're not. The thing is, guys, you guys know that a healer doesn't heal you. A healer guides you, right? Just like a doctor doesn't heal you either. They give you something and say, here, right? Everyone knows that doesn't work. The same thing with a healer. They don't heal you. They guide you, but you're the one at the end of the day that has to do all the work about it all of everything. That's the reality of it, right? And some people aren't ready for that. And that's okay. But eventually they will be, especially as the world's going as it is today. It's only a few more years and everyone will be friggin' asking for it, I tell you. All right. My inner child completely ignores me. Sounds like we're needing to be more consistent with that, like daily for a month, definitely, yeah? So, yes, I always hug her in that meditation you have. Yeah, very, very powerful. All right, guys, we've spoken about heaps on here. I love it. I love it so much. So freaking awesome. So if you are watching the replay, please let me know if you've got any questions. Transcendence is opening again early next year, like I said. But also Trust Your Intuition opens in 3 days, so you can check that out as well. If you've got any other questions or you want one-on-one support, please send me a message or comment below anything that you need help with. I'm here. I love you guys. Set those strong boundaries. I want to see the signs, post them in my Reality Awareness support group. Let's all band together and create these strong boundaries, because when we all do it, it's even stronger in the collective, right? Because we have the power, not them, in all ways. I love you. Mwah.